Hello and welcome to this new CTO talk. My name is Cornel Fatulescu. I'm Chief Platform Officer at Pentalog, meaning I'm in charge with products and technology strategy of the group. During the previous CTO talk, I told you it was just the first one, and I'm very happy to fulfill this promise. And next year we will have many more CTO talks along with other great tools and services for every CTO to make benefit of. Now, that being said, about today's session, Mangopay, a leading European fintech aiming to shape the future of exchanges by building powerful payment technologies for entrepreneurs. If you didn't hear about it, I think it's the moment to study them and see how they can help you. And about Mangopay, we are going to invite Céline from Mangopay. Céline, please join us.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. Hopefully everyone can hear you. Yeah, so Céline, thank you for being here with us today. Please tell us a few words about yourself and your role at Mangopay.
Thank you for the invitation, Cornel. So I have been in Mangopay for 2 years now, and I'm the Deputy CTO at Mangopay, which means I manage the dev teams because the CTO at Mangopay is Laure Némé. So she has the other teams, the tech teams, the QA team, the ops teams, and obviously the dev teams, and also the data teams. Yes, I forgot the data teams. So yes, what would you like to do with this role? Well, what would you like to know more?
Well, let's start a bit with I don't know, the latest success of your company in a sense. What's the biggest achievement you've recently had at Mangopay, you and your team, and brief us a bit there.
Yeah, the global success at Mangopay. Just a few weeks ago, we reached 20 billion euros in accumulated transactions since our creation in 2013. So yes, it's a big figure.
Okay. And how many people report directly to you today?
For the dev teams, we are 20 people. And for the tech teams, we are more than 60 people.
And it's very hard to define any tech lead role, like saying what are the attributes, but if you can say the most interesting, the most important 3 attributes that you have in your role today in terms of responsibilities.
Yes, as a tech teams, it depends how many people you have in your team, because you can be a tech leader of yourself. When you start a company, maybe you are the only one CTO in the company, so you have to do everything. But of course, when the startup grows and is a scale-up that like Mangopay, you are not a hands-on people. You have to manage teams, you have to listen to people and organize teams so that they can work properly and deliver the product.
And is there anything you favor more in what you do that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, for me, what is the most important for my team is to listen to people, to carefully listen to people, to find out what is very essential for them, because you don't only work to produce code or a product, you work with people, so they are the teams and they know how to do things, they know what is the best for your product. So you have adults in your teams, right? So just listen to people and it will be easier.
Yeah, sometimes we forget we work with adults.
Yes.
So listening to people. So that sounds easy enough, right?
It sounds easy, but it's not that easy because you tend to direct people. You want to tell them what to do, and sometimes you forget to listen to people.
Okay, so listening is one way. What about translating, vulgarizing knowledge from technology to the less technical ones, and from the business for the technical teams in terms of what needs to be done in terms of business goals and things like this? How much of your daily activities are focused on that?
I can't say how much of my time is done for translation, but of course we have very technical projects. So most of the time I have to do a marketing stuff to reword what we are doing, and so that people can understand easily why we are doing the technical part. How we do that, and so on. So at Mangopay, the product is an API, so it's a very technical product.
Mm-hmm.
So the product teams are very, they understand easily what we do as tech people. So usually it's okay to make them understand what we do. But for other teams, I have to reword the thing, and when we have corporate projects, so I have to translate it a bit. Yes.
Okay. Okay. This is usually a lot of time for every tech leader, huh? So translating,
Yes.
explaining, re-explaining.
Yes, communication is a big part of the job. Yes, and explaining again and again and the same thing. So it's okay. I accept the job.
Okay, so listening, translating. Let's talk about governance. So governance is that thing that comes with all the organizational frameworks that bothers everyone. Nobody wants to do it or thinks it's relevant because we need to focus on delivery, while governance seems to be the efficiency of what we decide to do and to implement. What can you share with us about governance? Is it still relevant in today's world?
Well, governance, I guess it's a big word, just to say we need to organize ourselves. So I believe it's how to improve if you cannot measure. But also at the same time, I believe in continuous improvement. So small improvements pay off in the long term. That's sure. And governance is here not to have only one people deciding for others, but it can be a group of people deciding. And I think it's like you have a captain in a boat, or you have a driver in the car. If you don't have any governance, you go nowhere. I think it's useful to have governance, but just don't, to my mind, don't be too direct, or just listen to people and then take the good decisions.
Uh-huh. So I remember those days, even in, it seems like in science, social science and psychology, there was some sort of revolution in being less directive in terms of how you work, help guide people so that they improve. It seems that it became also the de facto what happens in the industry, but there is also an excess that could emerge here. So how to balance between too directive and no direction at all?
Yes, too much autonomy leads to teams. They don't know where they're going. So yes, it's a matter of finding the good balance with very strict directions and give autonomy to teams. So my point of view is to give just an an overall view of what you are expecting from the teams, what you are expecting from the products, or what you are expecting from the technical part, and let the teams decide how they do that.
And at Mangopay, what are the frameworks and methodologies that you use, and how much of them were top-down decision-making, and how much of them were bottom-up?
Yes, at Mangopay, there is a mix between ideas come from the bottom, or come from teams, come from discoveries, and decisions are taken from the top and communicated to teams, but also by listening to people to take the right decisions. So we use currently for 2 or 3 years a framework named Initiatives, and it's kind of an OKR framework. So we have some projects, they are across teams at Mangopay, and every quarter we report where we are and where we are going.
Okay. So in a sense, decisions are still taken from the top to the bottom. Even if it sounds not that good, bottom, it's not bottom. We respect those people, and they are the ones who are doing the work, just in terms of company hierarchy. However, you ensure that people who take these decisions are aware of how people doing the job think, feel about the decision. This is
exactly, yes.
Okay, and you said something about OKRs as well. So how much of them, how do you balance between aspirational OKRs and more operational OKRs? How does it, things which are very precise, smart in a sense, to be done quickly in a small horizon, and things which are far in the future?
Okay, there is like a big vision done for the next coming years, like 3 years. And for the year, there are some it's like KPIs for different initiatives we have to reach. So it's not like black and white, you know. It's important to have the vision where we are going. So we are motivated to go there. But along the way, maybe we find other projects or other things that change that figure. So we are just realistic also, but it's important to have motivating figures to reach.
Okay. And was it hard to deploy the OKRs? Because I think there are many people in the audience looking at, should I do it? Should I not do it? It's kind of what happened in history for a decade already. So was it hard to deploy the OKRs across the company?
Like it's not exactly OKR. So just bear in mind that this is a framework. You can get it and transform in your own company, of course. When I arrived at Mangopay, it was already in place. So I cannot say if it was hard to put in place, but what can I say? It's hard to synchronize all teams involved in very large initiatives.
Any best practice that you could share with us there? Or bad practice?
I think the most important things to get in mind is that you have to limit the number of projects ongoing at the same time. I know it's difficult to decide, okay, this project it is important, but we cannot do all the projects at the same time. So just limit the number of projects. So I'm not sure it's linked to OKR, but it's very important. And the other things is it's difficult to synchronize different teams. Sometimes teams work with agile framework. Sometimes teams are just running day-to-day activities, so they are not used to work with the projects. So yes, it's hard to synchronize all the people.
And do you think when we talk about OKRs or number of projects, lots of decision making is involved. So, and it seemed wise what you said, limiting the number of projects. How do you feel about, having a cumulative flow diagram for the board and say, hey, whatever we want to build together, and we decide here, there is a cycle time to implement, and we are taking more decisions than managing to implement. How do you feel about limiting the number of decisions? Do you think that's something reasonable to expect today from a company, or?
Yes, I think it should be reasonable, because you would like to, you want to focus on what you are doing. In having too many projects, you are not being focused on your business. I guess it's my mind.
Yeah. So and there are always yeah. Please, I interrupted you.
No, it's okay.
And there are always these kind of distractions that we have. So things that seem interesting, seem relevant, everyone enjoys. Let's do it. But in focusing that energy there doesn't allow us to optimize what we've built already. So.
Yes, it's like finish what you are starting, or decide you are not going to finish it. It could be a decision. But yes, you don't want to spend too much time on shiny projects everywhere. You have to focus. You can start new projects and say, okay, we are there for this quarter. We didn't achieve what we expected. So are we going to continue or stop it because it won't serve our business? You can take that kind of decisions. And sometimes it's useful.
Okay. And now the collection of questions that we've prepared for you, and we have lots of questions. It has a part of your daily role, and we've been through that. Now we are going to head to the 360 degrees technology awareness and things like that, and then to more leadership side. And about technology, is it true you are a fintech company, right? So it should be technology. So how much of technology strategy is business strategy? Is this true for you?
Yes, of course. As we are a fintech, there is tech in fintech. So the technology is very important for Mangopay. I can't say, sorry, I can't measure that part of what is tech at Mangopay. What I know for sure is that most of the projects have an impact on tech teams. So when we have a new idea to implement, of course, they are product discoveries, but then to implement and to build the projects, we need the tech teams. So the tech team supports the core business.
Okay. Before asking my next question, so audience, please shoot your questions here in the chat. I will read them whenever I have a few seconds. I will continue with my questions. If not, I have lots of questions. So and they are not necessarily my questions. They are collected from colleagues, friends, people from the company, outside the company. So they are enough. But if you have something specific, you are curious and you want to ask Céline, that's the moment. So technical debt, that's one of my favorite topics. Honestly, this is something everyone has its own definition, everyone has its own way of doing it, and many struggle with, many tech leaders struggle with. I've also seen this survey, but hopefully it's not true. I need to check the data. So where CTOs or tech leaders, they change the job every 2 years because they don't manage to handle technical debt. So they kind of change the company in a struggle that maybe the next company it will be easier. So what's your definition about technical debt, and what can you share with us as a fintech company?
Okay, so to my experience, bad developers add technical debt, but also good developers add technical debt. But the difference is the good developer will leave space to refactor, will create tickets to change the code later, and you have to accept that there will be always technical debts, and it will always be around. So you can't build things from scratch every time. So as soon as you produce some code and you modify the codes, you will have technical debts. The thing is, just be prepared and take some time to refactor later.
Okay, okay. Bad developers, good developers. I suppose in terms of practices, not.
Yes, sure. Yes,
Yeah.
it's for the to have a picture in mind. So it's just to say it's normal to have technical debts, but my advice would be to include technical debt tickets in every sprint you have. It's like development and hygiene, good practices.
So for those who don't know, I met Céline at Tech Rocks meetup, where we discussed about leadership in tech and things like this. And this is how we ended up with this CTO talk I'm very happy we are doing today. And during that talk, I said something about if there is a duty that we have for our teams, because we are also there to serve them so that they can fulfill the given objectives, shared objectives. If there is something that we really need to do is to filter as much as possible, right? So, and this is why at Pentalog we arrived with a system that at least quantifies which of the people manage to have excellency and be in the top 5 and things like this. This is a perfectible system, but with great results. What can you tell us about filtering candidates and serving your team with the best talent out there?
You mean what is the recruitment process so we can get the
about recruitment process, about onboarding, about what you feel more reasonable in terms of you are helping your team to get the best talent, right?
Okay, so in terms of skills, of training and
Yeah.
good practices, yes. So first of all, I encourage people to train themselves. So don't wait too much on company. Don't rely too much on company to get the training, the yearly training. Go to meetups and go to conferences. And then for practices among teams, I encourage pair programming. I realized that the teams seem to be collaborative and they seem to know how to do pair programming, but in reality, they don't do pair programming that often. So I encourage them to do that.
Here, everyone. Pair programming.
And I know it's not that easy. It's not like, okay, take this ticket and do do it together. It's not like that easy. And of course, we have we are not in a physical environment. We work remotely now, so it's less easy. It's less easier than before, I think. But we have tools to do pair programming.
Yeah. So please, everyone, pair programming. I've never seen something more interesting in terms of building trust in learning and building quality. There was this metaphor with left brain, right brain working together, the one who is connected into the problem and the one who's looking at it from the outside. So way back in the extreme programming history, but still a viable practice. So hopefully, I'd love to see pair programming everywhere, along with test-driven development. And
there is another practice. We didn't start yet at Mangopay, but I have some leads. They told me they would like to do katas. So I encourage them to organize that, but I guess they need some time. People in the teams, in the dev teams, they need some time that the manager says, okay, this afternoon or this day will be like off, but just do katas and pair programming or something like that. I guess sometimes people need to have the manager saying it's okay to take time out of the sprint and do some training together.
Okay. That joins a very important aspect we are going to talk in a minute about repeatability and training together, practice. I see here a comment.
Oh, I can't hear you anymore.
Do you hear?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so I see here a comment from Juliette. Pair programming is the best to progress, improve your knowledge on a code base. Yes, we strongly support that. And I think it's one of the most wonderful best practice that we can employ on our teams. Now, Céline, please, before jumping to the next question, why do you think it's so challenging to do pair programming? What prevents us from doing pair programming like everywhere?
There could be different reasons. Maybe when you are a junior, you tend to be shy, or you don't like to ask a more senior programmer to help you. Mm-hmm. Or maybe when you are a senior, you are afraid to lose time, or I don't know exactly. Or you tend to think that okay, I can do that very rapidly, so why do I have to bother to share my time with another people? Or I don't know exactly, because when I ask the teams, they are open to pair programming, so maybe I can ask again.
listening. So it seems to me, from what you said, that pair programming is not just whoever doing it with whoever wants. It's also a matter of are you at an entry level? And it reminds me about something very interesting. When we look at skills acquisition, we were using the skills acquisition model, Dreyfus skill acquisition model, and where are different stages of knowledge. And if you are a novice, like you don't have proven experience in coding and real life work, you don't need mentoring. And in a sense, when you are pair programming, you are kind of mentoring or coaching the other one in a sense. What you need is precise recipes. Like, here is how it needs to be done, just execute. And do this a couple of times, and then bring your own thoughts and try to evolve on that. And I think this is a problem with a challenge in the industry, where we try to do everything fast. We need to onboard people, we need to deliver fast, the first feature, first version of that feature, it needs to go in production and so forth. And we forget that we have different levels of seniority in our teams, and some of them don't need mentoring. They just need clear recipes.
Yes.
And then they need mentoring, and mentoring it's good enough for a while, and then they need more coaching and all this. I think learning tools don't really integrate all these aspects in all the organizations.
Yes, you are right. The thing is, there are different levels of knowledge, and the first is you don't know what you don't know. So I remember a meeting where a more senior developers says, "Okay, so just ask your questions, all developers. You can ask me." And I said, "I guess some people don't know that they don't know that thing they could ask. So just share your knowledge, and maybe questions will come."
Okay. And who's handling efficiency in your teams? Like in terms of, look, the cycle time is too long. We need to do something, improve dramatically. Who's doing that?
Like the delivery cycle time?
As an example, the cycle time.
The cycle time? We use 2 weeks sprints, like many companies now, and they are retrospectives for every sprint. So at this moment, I mean, for this meeting, people in the team think about what they can improve, how they can improve. So they don't use that velocity figure. I don't know if you use it. It's
like story points per sprint or thing like this.
Yes, it's like it's okay to look at the velocity to know what to expect for the next sprint, to plan the next sprint. But it's not a key figure I look at when I am a manager, because sometimes the velocity is like less than before, but it could be any reason, not that because you think that the team is going slower. So I don't look at that, but I tend to like again, I listen to people. I go to these meetings every 2 weeks, and I listen in a retrospective what are the key findings in the past 2 weeks. And usually they have good ideas to listen.
Okay. There was this role in the industry where we talk about sprints, and it came from Scrum, having a Scrum Master who's handling efficiency, and you know, they look at the cycle as the river, and that's the flow, and there is always a bigger stone in blocking the flow, and they always pull the stones from the river so that we get. Do you have Scrum Masters in your teams, or?
The Scrum Master role is done by any team member in the teams. There are no Scrum Master only people. Okay. This role is shared by the team members.
Okay, good. And if there is something, one practice, so not business challenge, not an engineering practice, that you are doing more or less, but you would like to eradicate completely, say this is not what we should do from now on, or things like this. What's that top number one practice that you would stop?
Start and not finishing. Not too many projects and never finish the projects.
Okay. And what makes people that there's also a book, Finish.
I don't know that book.
I didn't read it. I just had the recommendation. I've heard about it in a conversation last week, and it seems to be this book. So Finish. That tries to, I don't know, I think, gather this body of knowledge and explain why we start, and we are most open to start things and not finish them. I also have my own theory there. I like to finish things, and I think maybe my team suffers a bit about that. But finish. So we could put it there in along with pair programming. Finish. Okay, so as a tech leader, technology means lots of things. There are already huge enough domains that it's impossible for one person, for one tech leader to bear, to support, to share, to translate, to engage in practices and explain everything. And we have security, we have data science, we have ops, and now all of them need to work together, shift left activities and all that. So how does it work? How do you split these responsibilities, especially in a scale up where I think there are means, but there shouldn't be so many means, so that you cover properly all of them, I believe. I don't know, but how does it work?
Yeah, that's true. When you start, you have to do everything, and when you grow up, you have to find key people to manage some aspects of your role, like you said, the data, the security. You can't be everywhere, so you have to find key people. So at Mangopay, all people are internal people. And if you don't have the expertise, just be humble and say, okay, I need a new people, or maybe ask for external expertise, or I don't know, ask people to find new people, and also just be in IT networks like Tech Rocks. You can ask your peers, what are you doing in this case, or whatever. So just be humble and don't be on your own, and accept to look for people to help you.
Okay, and what would you recommend for a tech leader, let's say a CTO, in a scale up, without the means to succeed? She feel like I'm not good in privacy and security. It's not my area of expertise. I feel I can understand and do some small stuff, but not good enough. I need help, but there seems to be no budget, investment, or something about it. What would you recommend for that person?
At least the first step is to be conscious that you are not good in that domain.
That's fine. You know you are not good.
Okay, when you know that, you have plenty of information on the internet, or in networks like TechRox, as I said. You can ask other people for free. You can ask, what are you doing in your company? You have the same size as mine. So what is your strategy? Like, not confidential elements, of course, but usually people are very keen to say, okay, in my company, we are doing that and that, and we are organizing this way, and I already tested that way to do, and it didn't work for me, and so you can just share your concerns with other people in your field, like other CTOs or tech leaders.
We are heading to the leadership questions, and I like to challenge you on a very straightforward question. When should a tech leader quit? Like we have the previous example. It just doesn't work. Assuming it's too much. It's like when should that person quit? What's the,
like, you mean give the role to another
someone else and say, hey, look,
the
it's
company?
not going to work in this equation. It's not going to succeed. I think it will be a big mess, failure. And when should that person not necessarily quit the company, but quit the role?
Okay. My advice, and I'm not very, I'm not 100% going that way sometimes, but my opinion is, as a manager, as a leader, the goal is to be like, I don't know the word, indispensable. I don't know the word in English. Make you are not. It's like you don't have to be there. So the admissible. Thank you, Juliette. So my goal is to be admissible. I don't know if that's quite right. Like in my job, I am asked to do that and that and that. And the goal is like I am off and nobody calls me. So the job is spread. I'm not the bottleneck, and this is my goal.
Things happen without you. Things happen because it's systemic. It's not because you are a hero.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No. Yes. The main risk is to act as a superhero, and that's a big mistake for me, I guess. And I experienced that previously in my career, so I know it's not a good solution to be the superhero in your team. You are not going to grow that way.
And you become the risk for the company.
Yes.
Okay. Going further with the leadership topics, what do you think makes a difference in terms of human resources, in terms of what makes it appealing for people to come, join your mission, join your projects, join your team?
What do you mean, the difference between Mangopay and another company?
Well, if you yeah, both. I wasn't thinking about Mangopay. I was thinking about an ingredient that any tech leader could make benefit of and say, here is how things should happen, a practice or something, if you could suggest. But you can give an example for Mangopay and then or something which is agnostic from the company, as you wish.
As I said, I like to listen to people and be collaborative and not so too much directive. So this is my opinion. Just treat people like adults, and they will act as adults. So you don't have to manage too much people.
So in a sense, great tech leaders put people's brains to work. So if people are looking for a place that represents them, where they can make a difference and contribute with their knowledge, their experience, they should look for this kind of leaders. This is what you...
Yes, in my teams, I look for people who are autonomous, like they have ideas that they want to put the ideas in place, and they don't wait to, they don't wait for me for everything.
Okay. A few years ago, I think it's 7 years or something, I wrote an article. It was in Romanian on my blog. Doesn't really matter, but that brought a lot of buzz in the, at least in my reach, and it was about choosing your boss. I think there are so many opportunities for everyone, and there is so much. How Tech Rocks was saying it, no bullshit. So there's so much bullshit. Sorry for saying it, and we could. In the market, in the way we recruit, in the way some promote their services and things like this. I think one highly valuable activity for these people to filter is also to ask for an interview with their future boss and ask questions about how is this going to happen, how is this going to work. Have you been in this situation? So having like a interview in both ways. How do you feel about it?
Yes, I feel very comfortable to answer questions when I have interviews. Like I don't know, any questions can be asked, and of course, when I go as a candidate. When I go to an interview, I would like to know more about my future boss. It's like you are going to work with a team for people, and you are not going to work only to produce code. So you have to know with who you are going to work.
And if you had to choose your executive officer, your next executive officer, right?
Okay.
What are those things you are going to look at?
I have no precise questions, but when we have the discussion, maybe I will ask what is important for that person, what this executive is looking like as skills for me. I don't know exactly, because and also it's very difficult to know people. So someone just in half an hour or just in a few minutes. It's kind of difficult, but I would say yes, it's important to answer questions, but sometimes I have to see with my eyes what are the actions of that people, that person. So if the actions are the same as he says, like as a leader, I try my best to be an example. Like I say to be honest, so I have to be honest. I say you should be transparent, so be transparent.
Yeah, that's also a very interesting leadership question. As a C-level usually, or the more you are at the top, you sometimes discover indicators that might worry everyone, but there is a gap between the moment you know and the moment everyone knows. And the shorter, the better, of course. But there is a gap because you don't want to raise an alarm when it doesn't exist. That's just data. It's a signal. So you need to check. You need to. It seems the great way to do here is to shorten the cycle from that. But that's very hard to do. For an executive officer looking at this information and preparing his decision making, I think that the most important part would be to spend time with that person, and help and be together in these situations. I think that's the
yes.
one of the things I'd look.
Yes, but it's difficult to have this kind of situations when you are in an interview process. So
when we prepared the CTO fundamentals, we had a series of what are the most important aspects for the CTO or for tech leader, because it applies. And one of them was spending time with that with those persons. And I think that's the thing I would look at, for example. Just spend time. How much time are we going to spend together? So,
yes, could be an indicator. Yes, but also at the same time, I don't want to be like 100% of my time with my executive, because
nobody wants.
Yeah, I don't like micromanagement. So I like autonomy, and the same for my teams. I like to spend time with the teams to understand what's going on, but not 100%. And same for my manager.
Do you think your team will look at you as more like a problem solver or a facilitator for problem solving?
For sure, I'm a facilitator.
Facilitator.
Yes, because I don't want to be the bottleneck. So I tend to remove impediments, and I don't want to be the superhero and be hands-on on everything. So I try to help people solve the problems by themselves. Of course, if I know the solutions, I ask questions going in that way. But it's not serving people to give them the solutions right now. But again, it depending on the if it's a junior or a senior in the role. So.
Okay, so I'm going to tend to try a question. If you'd look at, I think I know the answer because you said listening. So that's, but let me try the question. So if you'd ask the people you interacted with, you worked with in the last 12 months, to say what is the skill they appreciate or the attitude they appreciate the more for you, and say Céline is best here.
Okay, so true, you have the answer. Most of people say, because I asked the questions, this question, they say, okay, Céline listen carefully to people, she's empathetic, she cares about people. So this is what people say about me.
Wow. Have you looked at works for I don't know, influencers like Simon Sinek and things like this? He talks about listening people, engaging people into. Have you looked at this kind of?
Simon Sinek, I know the name, but I'm not following him. So maybe
you are doing this because you are like this, not because you studied and.
Yes, I think it's my it's just me.
Great. It must be great working with you. Huh? So,
well, it's good to listen to people, but I think what they are expecting for me, and maybe I don't do that too often, is to be more technical, to be a more technical leader, because I don't want to be the bottleneck. I'm not in every project. I'm not looking at every line of code. So maybe my teams expect me to be more technical, even if I'm a developer at first. So I like the technical part.
Yeah. This is an interesting tension. Even if tech leaders can do it, I think they shouldn't, because the system should scale without them. And as you said, you should not be part of the problem, or things need to go without you. And you are not a hero there. So software architecture, solution architecture, somehow the system should solve that. without you being a bottleneck. Great to hear that. So it's lots of things we share in common. Let's go to the worldview part. We still have 5 minutes. Worldview. Sorry?
And also, I see some questions. Yes, go ahead.
But I didn't. I don't see them.
I think there is a special part Q&A.
Do you see them? I don't see.
Yes, like in the bottom. Sorry. So maybe you can ask your last questions, and we can answer 1 or 2 questions.
Okay. But I don't know why I cannot see them. So if you can, if you see them, Céline, can you read them?
Yes, I have one from Cédric. How many retrospectives occurs with clients in a year? So I can't say the retrospective with clients. I can't say if they happened. I can say about just my team. So they happen every 2 weeks. And I have a question from Theo. What's the path you should take in your career to become a CTO? Is it more close to architecture or the project management path? Thanks. My experience is that you can become a CTO from various backgrounds. So if you were an architect or a developer or project manager or a Scrum Master, I think the management is another career. It's not a super developer or a super something. It's a different role. I have another question from Simon. How do you integrate testing into the development cycle? At Mangopay, we have QA teams dedicating to testing, and we have functional testing and integration tests. So I don't know if I can go to the details, but oh, you can see them. Great. You can reach me on LinkedIn if you want to ask more questions. I can answer. I have 2 anonymous questions. Is recruitment of tech profiles part of your CTO responsibilities? Yes, of course. And what works best for you? I don't know what you mean, but what works best for you? For me, I am in the process of recruitment, of course, because I recruit for my teams. So even this morning, I had an interview with the candidates. So I'm not the first interviewer. We have an HR call and then a technical test and then an interview with a tech lead and a lead dev and a developer. And then I'm coming at the end. And the last one, how do you onboard on your team? How do you onboard your teams, company culture versus projects? We have at Mangopay a team named Academy, and they have built a framework to onboard people. And we have a path for the first 5 weeks at Mangopay. So it's a very clear path to go for the onboarding. And for my team, we have also some activities to do for the newcomers. And the best thing is we dedicate buddies for newcomers. So each newcomer has a buddy for the first month. So yes, I went very quickly through questions. So I don't know, Cornel, if you have time for it.
Yeah, there is one last from Malek. I see it here. I finally saw the I think I wasn't seeing it was condensed as the screen. A small summary of skills required for CTO. But I think for that we can share, there is the ideal CTO. You can look at the video, and it ends with the session there. Let's. I will give the link here. You can take a look at this session. It answers the list of skills and responsibilities for a CTO. Céline, how did you feel? How did you feel in this session?
It was a pleasure to discuss with you, Cornel. Thank you for all the questions. I'm already very happy to talk about my role because I love my job, I love my team, so always a pleasure.
The last and the first CTO talk ended with what we do. It's a privilege. So we have an influence. We have the chance for us to contribute at this level with everyone and help these teams, help these projects, deliver all that. What's your wish for, I don't know, this kind of privilege in 2022?
Like the privilege of being a CTO or being
as a tech leader, yes.
Tech leader. It's not easy question for finish up. To finish up. No, I don't know. I like to share my experience and be humble and learn every day. I learn a new thing. So the privilege is to learn from other people. I don't know.
Okay. Thank you, Céline. And maybe we do another session in 1 year so that we see what changed. Huh?
Yes, with pleasure.
Céline, thank you, and thank you everyone. And remember, get back to PentaBAR and look for next CTO talks. We are going to have lots of them next year. Hopefully as interesting as this one. And if we don't see new meetups, Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.